everyone. Good evening, everyone, wherever you're out there you may be. It's just a little impromptu video here. I'm not really going to get into a lot of chatting with everyone or anything like that. I just want to cover our current situation. So we had a flight out of here that American Airlines has set for us for March the 31st, and so we were going to be um, the day before, for the 30th, we were set to fly to Manila, and then we would fly on from Manila the next day to Tokyo, and then from there we would continue up to head home to Texas there. Well, with the measures that the government's putting in place here right now, the domestic flights in the country being restricted now of going in and out of Metro Manila because he's having to do what he has to do, and I respect that. It changed our availability for that flight to take us into Manila, which would have got us eventually on home to Texas, to the U.S. And so, like I say, I'm really not seeing any comments right now or anything. I hadn't even tried to read none. If anybody writes, just kind of wanting to share this. So, I have complete respect with what's going on. Government's protecting their citizens, trying to narrow down the chance of spread and all. And it's a fluid situation. Things, really changing fast, evolving fast. And when we're this far away from home, we're dealing with multiple governments. We're not dealing with a government. If you want to go home, you're gonna go through it. You're gonna deal at least with the Philippines and the U.S. in our situation, but most of the time there's one stopover, and sometimes some people two stopover. So each time that's a new government, new rules that you're going to deal with, and it seems like things are still escalating, and more rules are being put in place for more countries. And I thought, the rules are going to get tighter and tighter for us. It's going to become more and more difficult. And after what happened last night with the declaration here, which, like I say, I completely respect his rules that he's putting in place, and everyone else should also. I've been up all night, so I'm really tired. Look at my eyes. And so, with those rules in place, I started looking at new options to try to get out of here sooner. I spent a lot of time on airlines and trying to talk to them, and they are so backed up with so many people calling. A lot of times it would just give you a message to try to call at another time and hang up. And this went on for us all day long and all through the night last night. And so um, the next thing that happened, and I know y'all are going to give suggestions, and I'm going to tell you I've been through everything. Another thing is that they would show a flight, and I say, okay, then I'm going to book it. And some of them are going through LAX, like I see some comments popping up there. And when I would go to hit to book it, the price would be tripled or quadrupled on the following screen. And I'm like, what the heck? And saying book it now, or it could be an even more increase in the next so many hours, and availability is running out. And then some of them that I passed up on, I went back and they were gone. And I saw that our selection and choices were narrowing in too. Some of the airlines had dropped as many schedules as they did have, and so the amount of planes flying were narrowing in also, because they didn't have passengers, and so they were cutting routes. Of course, that cost them money to be in the air. And I said, the chances of getting home are getting slimmer and slimmer. And I'm not joking about having a lot of responsibility back there. I do. I'm not a retiree here. I'm not, I'm not even retirement age. I'm still a productive member of society at somewhat. Our own rentals and have to manage them. They don't manage themselves. And I run cattle, and those are hungry mouths to feed. There's crops have to be harvested, and you don't just do it when you want to. You do it when it has to be done. And so I need to be back there for my responsibility. I've been doing this back and forth for 14 years, going into 15. And this is the first time this has ever happened. It's never been an issue. When you got ready to go home, you went home. And, I set a date. I knew when I need to handle something with crop or different things, and I would work it all. But these are things that are happening that are out of our control. And the governments are doing what they have to do, probably with a heavy heart, but also they're having to do it with a heavy hand. And I respect that, and I expect all of you to respect it too. Be kind, be courteous, don't be arrogant, don't be rude. There's no time for it in this situation. You're at their mercy, and everybody needs everybody. Just be calm and cool. Just be calm and cool. And so I'm trying to be Cool Hand Luke. If any of y'all know Cool Hand Luke, I'm gonna be cool, but I'm gonna get out of here. If y'all know the old movie Cool Hand Luke, he just couldn't keep him in. He always found a way out. Well, nevertheless, I right now had got an opportunity finally for a flight out of Cebu to Narita, Dallas on American Airlines. It was a flight that I've taken for years, and it's going to get us straight in the DFW. And the fare was pretty reasonable. I mean, it was. And the thing is American Airlines, they'll probably give me my money back, because if something opened up like that, they had offered to change that for free for me, like they've already done once, and they said they'd do it again if it changes again. But the problem is I could not contact them. Their phones are completely jammed up with people trying to reach them, and that created a problem for me to make a flight change, and I'm sure for others too. It's a little bit of a panic. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to purchase the ticket. I'm not going to try to beg for the free ride home. I know they have a lot happening. I'm going to purchase the ticket without any qualms or sniffling or anything like that. And after this calms down and I'm back home, we'll go over the events and I'll talk to them. If they give me a refund or a partial refund, so be it. They give it to me. And if they don't, that's okay too. It's just be water under the bridge, and at least we'll be home. So the money is not the issue about it. Of course, I didn't want to spend no $4, $5, $6, $7, $8,000 to try to get from London now back to the U.S. So we're gonna fly in advance. We're gonna head on to Cebu in advance, and there's always a chance with this fluid situation that they could further the domestic travel restrictions. So I went ahead and booked the ticket out of here at our local airport to the Cebu airport, and so right now I feel that that's probably the weakest link in our chain, would be that flight from Iloilo to Cebu. I feel that's probably the weakest link in our chain. And they were selling out tickets pretty fast though. Sold out, sold out, sold out. The screen was just full of sold outs. I would look at a date and go back and then say, okay, I'm gonna go with this date, and it would already be gone. So I said, you know what? I need to quit thinking so much and make action. And so we'll be heading to Cebu in a couple of days. It's not immediate. We're not leaving tomorrow or the day after, but we will be leaving in a couple of days. And we got a lot of raw still outside. I've got the guys come in at 6 a.m. this morning. They did an amazing job working yesterday. Absolutely amazing the amount of work that was done yesterday. And I was going to shoot a shot video to share to you guys, but I'm just, my mind's not in it at the moment. And there's so much happening. That's why I'm just doing these live chats. But I tell you what, there's concrete poured all the way from one side to the other, like a patio across there. And we poured that patio because we were going to use that to have something solid to put the upper level concrete forms for the overhangs up there and all. Preparing to pour a whole big monolithic slab up above. So they're out there today forming, and then we're going to try to get all of the open raw steel poured into the concrete that we possibly can. Because we don't know once we leave how long before we will ever be able to come back. We just don't know. This is a evolving situation every day. And but it's going to be left in good hands. There's wonderful family here, and I'm not worried about it. I could probably walk right out this door without putting any of our stuff away. Just walk out right now with a suitcase, and our stuff's going to be taken care of because Melinda has a wonderful family, and I'm blessed to have that. I am a tired boy, though. You see my glassy eyes? Woo. Melinda slept, but I haven't. I slept, what, 1 hour?
Yes, 1 hour.
1 hour I've had sleep because trying to deal with these airlines. And so, nevertheless, as things stand, we're going to make it on home, but it's a fluid situation and it could change again. Next, I've been packing and preparing one piece of luggage for each one of you, and I see somebody just keeps posting about bringing some lumpia. I keep seeing out of the corner of my eye there on that screen. I can just momentarily catch these comments. I don't have another screen open looking at them or anything. But I started packing. I'm bringing just bare essentials, what I need. And I told Melinda, you pack all in one bag. I pack all in one bag. That way if a flight changes on us somewhere, or we end up with our bags, we're not trying to lug a bunch of luggage around, you know. And just our backpacks and one bag that we can manage personally ourselves if we need to roll them around somewhere. So I stayed up last night preparing that in case something changes and I want to leave even sooner. We've got hand sanitizer. Melinda's big about using this even before all of this ever happened. Ever since I've known Melinda, ever since we've been together, she uses rubbing alcohol and hand sanitizer always. This isn't about this situation. She always uses it in the truck in the U.S., the truck here, in the side pocket over there where she rides. What she got with her, this. She'll have a little bitty deal of it. She'll even carry in her wallet. If she sees it when we're out in the stores and they have it for free where you can use it, she used it. She's always done that. This isn't a new action for her. This is already a regular routine of her hygiene. And so I'm lucky to have her. I tell you. But we've got, rubbing alcohol, hand sanitizer. We've got our dust mask. Because I too, like Melinda, I'm always thinking in advance. So, not to her knowing, about maybe 2 years ago, I bought a whole big box of 3M masks and had put them over here, and she didn't even know they were here. And I had bought that big mask too, mainly to do work with, but it's also a full respirator. And because I like preparedness, because I went through that H1N1 quarantine in Japan before, and I've been quarantined in a hotel in Japan about 10 years ago, during the H1N1 crisis and scare. So this is not my first rodeo. You're not coming back to states. Nobody's coming back states right now. I just think that's a bunch of nonsense saying nobody's coming back. Um, we'll be back. We'll debate that one. Let's just see. So so nevertheless, that's that fear. That's that fear mongering right there. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying don't do that. That right there, that's what instills a lot of fear in people. But we're gonna watch ourselves, and so we got the things that we may need while we're traveling. We've got our little hand sanitizer. We've got disposable gloves if we want to wear that, so our skin's not touching everything, and then we can still wipe those gloves off with this alcohol. Um, and we know how to manage our personal selves. Melinda and I were really responsible people, so I believe we'll be just fine. And on a responsible note as well, the fact is we are going to travel planes. We are going to travel through airports. We are going to be around people. And out of being responsible, I've already put a plan in place for my Uncle Gary and my friend Patrick to take my truck and over to the airport. Uncle Gary follow Patrick, and Patrick pull up when we're there and just step out of my truck, get in the truck with Gary, and they drive away. And Melinda and I are going to get in our vehicle without making any contact to anybody, just for the whole sake of caution and being respectful to the people we love and care about, because we will be passing through some hot spot, of somewhat you don't know, right? You just don't know. And we're going to go home to our farm, and we're going to mind our own business, and we're going to do our thing around there, and we're going to not intermingle with anybody, and just stay calm and cool, and be respectful, and be responsible, and we'll do like a self quarantine. I mean, we're gonna go home. We have food stocks there. We're on a farm. I mean, man, I can go out this perfect time of year to start growing. This perfect time to go fishing. So we'll be okay, and we're just gonna go on with our daily life. I'm gonna get there and start working on the hay baler. I got pickup teeth that I need to change on it. I've got blades I'll change on the cutter, on the rotary cutter, and I'll do my farm life there and go on about our life, and I'll share it on with you guys as it happens. But I will tell you all, if you're any other foreigners here and you two are trying to leave, be good to these people. They're all in a tough situation right now, and there's no time for bad attitudes. There's no time for it. And there's no time for being cocky or arrogant or demanding. We're all on the same slate. So just be cooperative, understanding, and keep a cool head, and all of this will be all right. And people out there saying things like, oh, they closed our border. They have not closed our border. Am I saying that it couldn't happen? No, it could happen. It could close here. That's why we want to go on home to our border. And but that is not a true thing to be out there posting right now, and that's fear mongering right there. That just causes fear. So just y'all just leave it. Leave it on a good note, and I just want to tell you what we have going on, and our situation's fluid, but as it is, we're going to get out of here. Worst case is that we get stranded in Cebu, and I get a hold a foreigner farming in the Philippines and ask them to bring the boss lady over. The boss lady is their boat. Bring the boss lady over and pick up Melinda and I. We're going to become the new piggery farm hands at the M&B piggery over there. Yeah, that'll be the backup plan right there. Two southern boys from the U.S. being country boys that can survive. Everybody out there, take care, and we love you all.